Okay, I think that D3, of course, is the obvious choice because it's been around for a very long time. But right now, the requirements for any visualization are a little bit more complex than D3 can provide. So normally, I would try to use some component-oriented framework, such as Vue, React, or Angular, your component framework of choice, and integrate that with D3. I think that's the perfect combination for any web application, no matter if it's desktop or mobile, whatever. So I think that the combination of those technologies is the winning combination. I think that's one of the main things that both Vue and React, they have a very similar paradigm, like converting components into DOM elements into the browser. And D3 has a slightly different way of managing the DOM elements in the browser, like more data-driven, and that comes from the name. D3 is data-driven documents. So the two different paradigms are slightly different. Some people are more used to the old way of doing things in D3 and the style of code that you get, and there's an advantage of that because you have many examples on the internet that you can just copy and paste and you can incorporate. And many people, we are used to writing code in that style, but we need to usually to wrap that code into components and let React or Vue, the modern component-oriented frameworks, to handle the DOM. So sometimes there's tension who should manage the DOM elements, D3 or Vue or React. And I think that answering that question is the key to create a good integrated visualization for that. So I think that's the way of handling the DOM elements is the main difference. I think that normally data visualization is made by people that is the first time that they do some data visualization. So they quickly find some examples on the internet and they copy and paste. And there's a lot of difficulties adapting that code that you find somewhere to integrate that into your application with your data, making it responsive, making it talk to the rest of the application. So I wouldn't say it's the main mistake. I would say it's the main difficulty, like adapting those examples to your particular needs in each moment. And the solution for that is to really understand how your framework works, Vue or React, how their reactivity works inside, how they render the DOM elements, and also understand how D3 works. And once you understand both paradigms or ways of doing things, then it's really, I wouldn't say easy, but it's more approachable to combine the two technologies and create a compelling data visualization. I would say that among the three dominant component frameworks, my favorite is Vue. I don't hide that, but I think that React also is very promising. And the fact that you have React Native, allowing you to share a part of the code base to create native applications and web applications, it's a good promise. But in reality, making web applications, my favorite framework is Vue because it's simple, it's easier to learn, and the ecosystem and the community is amazing. I mean, my main approach or the recommendation that the recommendation that I make always is to combine D3 with any other component-oriented framework. In terms of those, I don't think there's a significant performance difference between Vue and React. I think that Angular is quite heavy, so I wouldn't pick that for lightweight applications. But between React and Vue, I think that the choice should be for personal preference or team experience or for other reasons, because there will be endless debates of if one framework is 3% more performant than the other, but I don't think there's a significant difference. My favorite choice would be Vue, but I mean, React is a perfectly valid and comparable solution for that. Well, it's funny that you asked that question because in the last 4 years, I've been developing those charts for many newspapers here in Spain. And I mean, normally the design comes from the newspaper. We didn't do the design, we just implemented them. But there are some of them that are particularly better than the others because the graphic designer has put more imagination or more creativity into creating some chart that is not usual arc or bars, but that tells a story. And I think, and in my talk, I show one or two examples of those charts, and I think that they are really interesting because they tell a story, and it's something that you miss in many of the charts, that they just present the numbers, but they don't tell you a particular part of the story. So I would recommend to see the talk and see those examples, and then follow these newspapers, and I usually take some time during elections night to compare different solutions and to understand how each of the newspapers is presenting the information.